Our last group is called angiosperms. So angiosperms, they produce seeds and they are vascular plants. Now they are different from gymnosperms in that they produce flowers and fruits. So the purpose of a fruit is to surround and protect the seed. So most plants that you think about are angiosperms. If you look outside, most plants produce flowers. So these are angiosperms. So there are at least 260,000 living species of angiosperms, and new species are still being discovered all the time. So let's take a look at some of the characteristics of angiosperms. Angiosperms have developed flowers and fruits. So the flower serves as the reproductive organs for the plant. That's where the seed and the fruit is produced, in the flower. And in order to attract pollinators, the flowers, they come in all different colors, shapes, and smells. So let's take a look at the structure of a flower. So on the outside, we have these things called sepals. So sepals are basically kind of like modified leaves, and they help to protect the flower until it develops and opens up. You have different kinds of petals that are meant to attract pollinators, right? And then within the flower, the reproductive structures are divided into two different portions. You have the male portion and the female portion. So the male portion of the flower produces pollen, right? So that's like the yellow stuff, the yellow, powdery stuff that some people are allergic to, right? So you have the filament and you have the anther at the very top. So the filament is this long process right over here, and the anther is this thing right at the top. So those two together make the stamen, right? The female portion is composed of three different parts. You have the stigma at the top. That's where the pollen is transferred to. Maybe you have like a honeybee or something that takes pollen from the anther and goes and deposits it on the stigma. The style is this long filament here, right? So the DNA, the genetic material from the pollen, goes down through the style and eventually down to the ovary that has the egg within it. So these three portions together form the carpel. So what happens when a flower is pollinated, right? Well, pollen from the anther goes to the stigma, as we saw. So what happens is that this portion down here is called the ovary. So the ovary, right, starts to grow and turn into a fruit, and the center turns into the seed. So the rest of the flower kind of goes away, and this ovary portion starts to grow and mature and turn into a fruit, and the seed is in the middle.